Wednesday the 13th of July, and welcome to From the South. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has instructed the military to supervise food processing plants and to take charge of production and food distribution. They will also monitor key ports. The order came as Maduro's government is trying to ensure that food and medicines reach those who need it. Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez is in the United States this week. One of his goals is to show that there is an interest in protecting human rights. This comes as Congress is debating a bill that would cut US aid to Honduras. Our correspondent Gerardo Torres has the story.
Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez is in the United States and lobbying to paint the human rights image of Honduras in a positive light. It's a necessary move for the Honduran government as the US Congress is set to debate a bill that would block US aid to Honduras until there is a formal and objective investigation into the assassination of indigenous leader Berta Cáceres. Currently, Honduras receives about $400 million annually, which could be stopped. Luis Mendez of the ALBA movements in Honduras assures that the demand of justice in Cáceres' assassination has spread worldwide, and this is an action in that direction.
This is the ongoing demand, not only of a country or of the social movement of Honduras. This is an international request of the people, organizations and governments that demand justice in this horrendous assassination. This perverse crime facilitated by this system that is presented today by Honduras President Juan Orlando Hernandez.
For Karen Spring of the Honduran Solidarity Network, Cáceres' assassination is just an example that the violence and repression hasn't stopped in Honduras since the coup, and that these actions have been supported and funded by the United States government. The Solidarity Network coordinates 40 organizations in the United States and has been pushing for a bill to cut U.S. aid to Honduras.
I think that just the presentation of the bill alone in the U.S. Congress is something that I think we've been working on. The U.S. and U.S. social movements have been working on, and the Honduran social movements have been demanding for so long. And so it's really interesting that 7 years after the military coup, after the Honduran social movements have been mobilizing and resisting and demanding, and Berta Cáceres herself and Copine have been demanding that the aid be suspended, that this bill is presented in the U.S. Congress.
The United States was one of the very few governments that didn't suspend aid to Honduras after the 2009 coup, despite a massive crackdown on social movements and an increase in violence. The U.S. congressional bill to suspend aid already has 22 supporters and is looking for more, though it may not be voted on for several months and probably won't have enough votes to pass. The bill is highlighting that the United States has been supporting a country that is not willing to defend the life of activists and human rights defenders. Gerardo Torres, teleSur, Honduras.
The US House of Representatives has approved a number of clauses which seek to toughen sanctions on Cuba in the budget bill for 2017 financial services and general government services. Under the legislation, financial transactions with entities linked to the Cuban military are restricted. It would also be prohibited to grant trademarks and intellectual property rights to businesses or owners of properties confiscated by the Cuban government. To become law, the measures still need to pass the US Senate and receive President Obama's signature. The death of a protester at the hands of anti-riot police heightened tensions on Tuesday, turning demonstrations violent. The strike by truckers, which began on June 7th, seeks the effective implementation of a scrapping fund, social programs for drivers, safety on roads, low cost of tolls and fuel, among other claims. Brazil has announced that its armed forces would receive an additional $24 million to help meet security needs for the August Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Sports Minister Leonardo Picciani said that the extra money is for making what he referred to as final adjustments to Olympic security following a request from the Defense Ministry. In contrast, protesting police say they lack the basic necessities to carry out their work and have not been paid their salaries on time. David Cameron made his last appearance as the leader of the United Kingdom earlier today, making way for the new Prime Minister, Theresa May, to lead the monumental task of leaving the European Union. Cameron stepped down after Britons voted on the 23rd of June to quit the EU. During her first speech as leader of the country, May said it would be her mission to build a better Britain. Republican Donald Trump and his family have met Indiana Governor Mike Pence at his home earlier today, as speculation grows that he could be his vice presidential pick. Pence endorsed former Republican candidate Senator Ted Cruz in May, but said he would support whoever is the Republican nominee. Trump is expected to name his vice presidential pick this week. At least 6 civilians and 2 policemen have been killed in a suicide car bomb attack at a police checkpoint in Iraq's capital of Baghdad. Some 23 people were injured in the attack that was claimed by the Islamic State group. The attack came a day after a previous suicide car bombing at an outdoor market where at least 12 people were killed. The People's Party may have won Spain's last elections, but they were unable to get the majority needed to form Spain's new government. The party's leader, Mariano Rajoy, needs to convince other parties to join him in order to break the political deadlock. However, the leader of the Spanish Socialist Party, Pedro Sanchez, has confirmed the party will vote against the nomination of Rajoy as Prime Minister. South Sudan's Vice President Riek Machar has withdrawn with his troops to outside of the country's capital, Juba. According to a spokesman, Machar is not planning for war. The latest development comes during a ceasefire that ended 4 days of heavy fighting with the president's forces. A young man illegally crossed a fence from Israel into Gaza on Tuesday afternoon. Noor Harazin has the details.
Yesterday, an Israeli man crossed from Israel into the Gaza Strip, and since then Palestinian people here in the Gaza Strip were really worried and anxious about who is this person, why did he enter the Gaza Strip in this illegal way, especially that the Gaza Strip would be the last place in this world for people to go to or do illegal immigration in. So this morning, Israeli sources reported that this person is an Arab Bedouin from Beersheba. His name is Jum'a Abu Ghanima, and his family has said that they are really surprised that their son came and across the line into the Gaza Strip. Some people published really funny stories saying that he fell in love with someone from Gaza, and maybe that's the reason why did he come to the Gaza Strip.
Mexico has formed a squad for the Rio 2016 Olympics with a new generation of young players looking to defend the gold medal the country won at the London 2012 Olympic Games. The team boasts 15 players under the age of 23. They will face Germany on the 4th of August at the Arena Fonte Nova. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.